Still confused which KTM beginner bike to buy? Well, say no more. I'm here to help you. Not everyone can afford to taste the exoticness of the Ducati's beginner bike, the Scrambler, and not all beginner can start up with a 44 horsepower motorcycle. Thanks to this person, by the way, who gave me an idea to make another comparison video. This time, we're not going to pit Yamaha against Honda with who's got the better touring scooter, but we are going to make sure that you'll be getting the right KTM for you. Or will I confuse you even more? Yes, I said KTM bike. Since HUSQVARNA is owned by KTM for a very long time, not as long as these photos that I dug up on the internet, but since 200 Duke has been a preference for a decade and still competes with other 155s and 200 to 250 cc's out there, it is smart that they expanded with a classic yet futuristic looking motorbike. It is really intelligent to brand it HUSQVARNA so it will sound more exotic. It is not a fight of which one is actually better because both have the same engine, same power and torque, same underbelly exhaust with riding modes, but based on the ownership input, the Duke is a lot aggressive and much more easier to reach 60 miles per hour. It shares the same WP Apex big piston non-adjustable front fork and WP monoshock on the rear with preload adjustable. Both have Bosch fuel injection and both as well have a Bosch dual channel ABS with a Vibre disc brake calipers. But a lot of things are different beyond that. I gotta say I'm a big fan of these two motorcycles. We are going to give them an honest comparison, a breakdown for the design, power and capabilities, riding comfort, and of course, the serious matter, the price. With some ideas as well, the advantage and the disadvantage of maintaining it. So if you're already decided with the Svartpilen 200, I don't have to change your mind. If you have the cash, go pay for it. But otherwise, let's dig in first off with the design and the quality. So if you're looking for something sporty, aggressive from front to rear, they are so far one of the production bike that has a race bike vibe when it comes to the paint job and the decals. But the downside, they are still keeping the orange light from the halogen bulb on the headlight that makes the motorcycle old looking. The upper half looks like a sport bike. Gas tank are metal with plastic tank fairing that is looking so sharp, and it has a sharp rear end, LED on the taillight with LED turn signals as well. The 200 Duke looks beefy on some angles because it has the same frame, same structure as the 390 Duke, same wheels and same tire size too. Increasing the fatness of the tire in the rear will make you think that this bike is not a beginner bike but rather an expressway legal bike. The digital display is like of Game Boy. In my own opinion, it's not that bad at all, but you must have a very clear vision in order for you to see your speed when you're riding it. Now let's jump off to the design of the Svartpilen 200. First of all, it gives out a lot of definition when it comes to this motorcycle. It looks so exotic that you won't distinguish where it's from if you have no idea about the brand. It's eccentric but in a good way. You will see branding everywhere but not that much visibly aggressive on the decals. The design is a work of beauty, finesse and exoticness. It does look like a rich man's bike, so is the price. Not that much on the Game Boy LCD display, dual sport looking seat, and non-metal gas tank. For the round display, I like it. It looks classic. Dual sport seat makes the look of the bike like a classic crossover, and the non-metal gas tank help you with the nimbleness of the bike. And it will be explained later on. If you're not looking for anything sporty, this bike will be perfect for you. The KTM Duke had two color options here in the Philippines. It has orange with combination of black color. The other one is white. While the Svartpilen has only one model. Now if you're going to ask me, one color option only is actually fine because it's almost a perfect bike, but we will talk about its disadvantages as we proceed with this comparison. Now here are the common factors why you will change your mind on the Svartpilen 200 and why you will proceed with the KTM 200 Duke. First things first, because of the seat. It's one of the biggest factors why these two motorcycles are different. Another one is the ergo, the positioning of handlebars, and the foot controls too. Lastly, the seat height and weight. The seat coming from the Duke is a little bit dated. Maybe it's one of the reasons why it's the most affordable 200cc from KTM, but as told with owner's input, Duke 200 is much more comfortable for long ride because of the wider seat for the rider and for your back ride as well. On the other hand, Svart is much more plush, soft cushion, but not much to consider for a long ride and not much to consider as well for your back ride. It even looks like a dual sport bike seat like I said a while ago, but with the overall ergo, it's much more comfortable. And the foot controls are positioned a little bit low, but not too low enough for you to be restricted from sporty cornering. You might have to think about your partner too. If you are considering the Svartpilen 200, I don't think it will be comfortable to have a non-stop 100km ride with or without an OBR. I didn't say it's impossible, it's not going to be comfortable. Even the Duke has a naked handlebar. It's a little bit different because of its sporty sitting position. Seat height for the Duke is only 822mm with 154kg wet weight, while the Svart has 835mm with 145kg wet. The Svart has the higher seat height, but considering the Duke had wider seat, it makes it difficult to flat foot even for a 5'6" tall rider like me. Plus, the Svart 200 is considered to be at least one of the lightest in its category. And I've seen riders as well with a height of 5'3" tall tested out the Svartpilen to be comfortable. The power and capability will be almost the same because like I said a while ago, both have same power, 26 HP and 20 NMOT. Riding mode is Sumo mode or Supermoto mode, where you may be able to remove the rear ABS. The difference they would have is the fuel tank, fuel consumption, and the tires as well. Yes, the Duke 200 has 13.5 liter gas tank, same goes as the 390, but it could go 35 to 42 km per liter. The Svartpilen may only have 9.5 liter gas tank, but never count out the long ride capability of this bike because it can go over 44 km per liter. While Duke can go mainly on highways, I've seen owners replace an all-terrain tires or otherwise a dual sport tires for their Duke. But if you're looking for a minor off-road coming from a stock bike, you gotta go with the Svartpilen 200. It has MRF dual sport, so you won't have a problem cruising along the back road going forward. If you're already decided with the Svartpilen 200 and if you have already an overflowing cash, I don't think it will be a problem. I don't need to change your mind, but their prices are way different from each other. The Duke 200 in the Philippines can go with 175 to 198,000 pesos. It depends in what region you are, while the Svartpilen can go 198 to 211,000 pesos, also depending on what region you are. Cost of maintenance will be as high as maintaining a 400cc bike. It can go around 2,500 pesos or even more if you're going for casa maintained with a 2 years warranty. But it also shares the PMS intervals of the big bike, which is 1,000 kilometers on first and 5,000 kilometers on the second. Now that's good interval and less costly comparing it to its competitors. The parts, this information is coming from what I have observed based from working from the KTM dealership before. You will find a lot of KTM parts than the HUSQVARNA. So if you're considering it as a really beginner bike, go with the KTM Duke. If you drop it, there's a bigger chance that you'll find the original parts easily. But if you are after the beauty and all the sweet words you could say to your wife to describe the Svartpilen, definitely go with the Svart. It's good for riders with low on height and it's lighter than the other beginner bikes you'll find. Plus, let's not forget, it can go not just on the highway but also on the back roads as well. For me personally, and on my own opinion only, I would definitely go with the Svartpilen 200 because of its beauty, because of its fuel consumption. But guess what? I'm not a beginner rider anymore. The Duke 200 is much more practical for beginner riders out there. It's the cheapest or the most affordable KTM 200 that you will find, and the good thing about it, you will easily find the original parts for the bike if you happen to drop it. Let me know in the comment section below which motorbike is better for you. Is it the Svartpilen 200 or the Duke 200? And if this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more. Exodus 14:14 to everyone. Keep on praying and trust the process. And I'll see you in the next one.